Hello, my name is Jacqueline Pollauf, and today I wanted to share a tip about setting up an electronic tuner properly for tuning a harp. Specifically, I'm going to be talking about making sure that your tuner is calibrated to 440 hertz. Now, if you understood what I was just saying and it makes perfect sense to you and you're sure that your tuner is set up properly, then this video is not for you. But I find that sometimes, especially with beginning students, students might have unintentionally changed the settings on their tuner. And even though an electronic tuner or tuning app is a really useful tool when tuning a harp, if the settings have been changed, it isn't working as well as it should. So I wanted to explain what calibration and hertz are, and then how to check your tuner to make sure that you have it set the way you want to. Calibration is really just talking about a standard for tuning. For example, I could tune my whole harp by ear and make sure that all of the strings and pitches sound good in relation to each other. And a violinist could do the same thing with their instrument. But if we don't have a way to coordinate our tuning, if we don't have a shared standard, then when we play together, it's not necessarily going to sound good. We have the same thing actually when it comes to time. We all have clocks and phones and computers and everything else in our homes. But if we don't have a way to coordinate that, then our times won't sync up. So we have coordinated universal time. So therefore, when it is noon in my time zone, if you're in the same time zone, it is also noon and not 5 after or a couple minutes before or something slightly off. So calibration is that standard within music. And what we do is we measure the pitches, and we measure them using something called hertz. And hertz counts up the number of vibrations per second. And the standard that we're all using within Western classical music is we take this A, the A above middle C, and we all make sure that it has 440 hertz or 440 vibrations per second. And if everybody matches to that, then our tuning also matches. You can find the other pitches mathematically based on that. It gets quite complicated, but this A would be 220 and this A would be 880, and then you can use all these calculations to work out everything in between. So when your tuner is working properly, it's doing all of that for you. It's using 440 hertz for the A above middle C as the standard, and then it's adjusting everything else to that. And then your friend on their cello is doing the same thing, and then your tuning matches. So here we have a physical electronic tuner, and in order to check the calibration, all we're going to do is look at these numbers in the corner, which say 440. There's even a little tiny HZ after that for hertz. And that is telling us what our calibration, what our standard is. So this tuner is set up properly to 440, just the way we want it. Now, if it says something different, what you want to do is you want to find the buttons that adjust the calibration. Hopefully you're able to see over here this little tiny calib. Some of the text is getting kind of worn away below it. But calib, of course, is just short for calibration. And then there's an up arrow and a down arrow that you can use to adjust. So if we push up, we just keep moving up by a single digit. If we push down, we can adjust down by a single digit. So if your tuner doesn't say 440, you want to use those arrows to move it back until it does. And I think the most common reason for having the tuner not set up properly is that sometimes people are just fooling around with the settings and they move those arrows and they don't even realize that they've changed something that they shouldn't. But 440 is what you're looking for your calibration. So for one final example, here we have an electronic tuning app on my phone. And the hertz are displayed in the middle here in white. It says 438. Of course, we do not want it to say 438. So all I'm going to do is go into the settings in the bottom corner here. Then right here, it says reference pitch. So I'm just going to use the up arrows, bring it back up to 440. And then we go back, and now it is correctly calibrated. So all of these tuners and tuning apps have a way to change the calibration, because once in a while you do want to change that standard. But that's a pretty advanced topic. We're not going to go into that today. Instead, I hope this tip about making sure that your electronic tuner or tuning app is set up properly is helpful to you in your harp tuning. Good luck.